Hi, my name is Angus Ho with Daddy Dad, a part of the Ash Management Group. I want to show how you can budget as a full-time engineer, make real estate investments, and live an exceptional family life as a dad. So come along with me in this journey of wealth. It is important to have role models in your life. These are people that you want to take good lessons from and apply it to your personal life. Take for example, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Jack Ma. These guys have made it to be some of the richest people, and learning from them and their attitudes in approaching problems will help you get to success sooner. This way, you can reach your dream goals faster, whether that be buying that dream house that you've always wanted, travel the world in style, or becoming financially independent and retiring early. My favorite role models are Kevin O'Leary and Chef Gordon Ramsay. These two provide great advice and entertainment that helps me keep motivated with the ASH method. Let's talk about Kevin O'Leary first. The first time I ever heard of Kevin O'Leary was on Dragon's Den, a Canadian investing TV series like Shark Tank, which focused on Canadian investors. It started out as a great idea, but the American counterpart, Shark Tank, got way more popular, and Kevin O'Leary switched over to that program instead. Kevin O'Leary is a very cutthroat investor, at least that's what his persona seems to be. If you watch his YouTube channel and his Ask Mr. Wonderful series, he actually is a very level-headed person that genuinely wants to help people. One of my favorite sayings that Kevin O'Leary makes, and a great lesson to be had, is that money flows in the path of least resistance. To me, this idea is something I live by. The only way for me to invest is something that will get me the best return as fast as possible. If I had $100,000 to spend money on, I would wait for 50 ideas, then the company out of 50 that has the best profit margin, revenue stream, and the cheapest to purchase will get my investment. This idea also applies to rental properties. The biggest criteria is the cash-on-cash return of a house. Cash-on-cash return takes into the account the purchase price of the house, the expenses of a house, and the rent generated from renting. So if you're looking in the area for a house, and upon evaluating 50 properties, the cash-on-cash return might be a spread between -2% and 5%. Then you obviously would buy properties at the plus 5% mark, even if the house that you are buying wasn't what you were expecting. The next thing that Kevin O'Leary says a lot that I agree with is, it's a stupid idea. It's going to zero. Take it behind the barn and shoot it. It's a little extreme, but there is a lot of truth behind it. In the business, if it requires more than thousands of dollars to be sunk into it and still nothing is coming out of it, then it is time to give up on the idea or pivot the idea. When someone says they put in millions of dollars and still nothing has come out of it, then it's a stupid idea. It's going to zero. Take it behind the barn and shoot it. It's only wise to stop the bleeding on the stupid idea. There is a term called fail fast, where you can give yourself a timeline, produce what you can out of it, and if it doesn't succeed, then you drop it and move on to another project. From an investor's point of view, if they put in $100,000 into your business and you have $200,000 in debt already, which investor would give you $100,000 just to have $200,000 worth of debt? That's just not smart, so shoot the idea. Speaking of a smart idea, smash that like button. Not only will it help out my YouTube video, but those dislike trolls are coming. They're coming to get me! Okay, thanks for smashing that like button, for helping me out. Another one of my favorite role models is Chef Gordon Ramsay. I've watched many of his shows like Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, and Master Chef. Although I don't agree with his cursing and a lot of his tact on solving kitchen issues, he's right about a lot of things about how to run a business and some of the philosophies on running a kitchen. One of the things I've learned most about is understanding your business. No one said that running finances has to be complicated as long as it gets tracked. Then all you need to do is calculate the income the restaurant has made and the expenses the restaurant has incurred. Building that fundamental foundation is important to understand the profit. One of the things that Ramsay keeps asking every restaurant owner is the break-even amount, the amount of money the restaurant needs to take to be profitable. Once you know that, then you need to know how many times each table needs to be turned over and how many dishes needs to be ordered. Then you can use that to understand which dishes are performing well and which ones are not, and swap them out as necessary. It's a pretty simple theory, and maybe it's ego or poor management that prevents smart decisions. The next step is to expand on this idea for every aspect of the business, whether it's the front of the house with staffing, franchise, taxes, and so on. Then it's all about making your financial analysis more comprehensive and getting the numbers to show which part of the restaurant is performing and which parts is not. Every well-run operation has systems in place. That way, newly brought in people will be able to catch on quickly and easily. Not only that, everyone will know what is expected of them and what their part is within the kitchen or dining room. Systems are important to ensure efficiency and productivity. This is a common thing you'll see when it comes to the expediter in the kitchen. This sole person ensures that the system stays together. The person on the meat and the garnish, the deep fryer, fish, and other stations know what their role is, and when the orders start flooding through, it starts becoming an assembly operation. The main duties from the front of the house is that they need to know the menu, sell the items on that menu, and keep the guests happy. They too have systems of understanding which tables they need to take care of, how to get orders, drinks, utensils, and other customers' needs through the system. Then the management team keeps the building, facilities, accounting, staffing, and the equipment in the restaurant operating. You can learn so much from a single TV show, and Ramsay puts it in a very entertaining way. Chef Ramsay in his show has a very insulting way of describing things on TV. However, his points and what he's trying to get at, in my view, is spot on. If you peel back all the drama, cursing, and really focus on the point he's trying to get at, he has many management tips that he brings forward. One of these things is a defined role. What is the role of the owner? What is the role of the managers and the head chef? He goes through all of these things all the time with every kitchen nightmare. Delegation and not micromanaging is very important, and defining these roles will definitely help with that. This opens up the topic of decision making, because if roles are well defined, then when a decision needs to be made, it will fall to the right person. You will see that time and time again in many Kitchen Nightmares episodes where lack of leadership from the owners causes all the chaos in the restaurant. Another example is that many of the owners don't allow the head chef to pick the menu. Chef Ramsay keeps reminding the owners, why did you hire a head chef if they don't get control of the menu? The last thing about management is that they need to run it like a business. Too many owners start treating their employees like friends and family, or simply neglect to manage their staff properly. All these things can lead to poor management. The last thing I love about Chef Ramsay is keeping standards and making sure common sense is still common sense. Proper hygiene and sanitation, making sure that grease, dirt, and mold is free from the kitchen, it seems so obvious and something that would be done routinely. However, in the thick of things and with the lack of leadership, cleanliness is the last thing anyone wants to spend money on, especially when there's no business coming through. Chef Ramsay, however, stops service and often embarrasses the owners for the lack of cleanliness. Cleaning is no one's favorite thing to do, but it still has to be done. The next thing that owners hate to do, especially with a struggling business, is to throw away product or fix anything. The restaurant starts going into disrepair, and there are episodes where stoves don't work, refrigerators don't work. When those don't work, food starts to rot. Sometimes it's just from the lack of refrigeration, but it's also from the lack of product rotation. That's when new tomatoes get stacked on top of old tomatoes constantly. Doing this over months will cause many vegetables to rot, spoil, and even freezer burn if it is in the freezer. Some restaurants have sometimes gone to the extreme of over purchasing that they would most likely have months of supply stored with no customers to feed. Chef Ramsay calls this wasting of money. These role models give me the drive and the motivation to keep going with my business because I'm just an everyday dad budgeting and working hard as an engineer to stay out of debt. Because of these role models and lessons, I discovered the ASH method and strategically invested my money into real estate and the stock market. Because of that, I can run a side company called ASH Management that manages over $3 million in properties. Now, I can travel the world with my wife and daughter every year and live in a 2,000 square feet house. Until finally, I am now 90% plus of the way there to becoming a millionaire. Join me at the Daddy Dat Facebook group to talk about your finance questions. Ask the YouTube community your questions by commenting below. If you like to hear more budgeting, engineering, or real estate tips, please leave a comment for what you want to hear, smash that like button, subscribe button, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I post new videos every week on Sundays. From the ASH Management Group, this is Daddy Dat, saving you money.